And now it's time for another heartwarming edition of the Two Guys on the Couch After School Special. Today is the first installment of Rusty is an Ichthyophiliac. Once there was a boy named Rusty. He was 9 years old. Rusty had a dog named Patches. Patches slept in the doghouse beneath Rusty's bedroom window. One night, Patches couldn't sleep. He heard a scary sound.
Bow wow wow! Bow wow wow!
Barked Patches.
Bow wow wow! Bow wow wow! Line! Bow wow wow!
Rusty threw open the window.
Oh no!
He cried.
Patches has heard the roar of millions of gallons of water!
Rusty watched from his window as Patches was engulfed by a sudden flash flood.
Oh my!
Thought Rusty.
What will become of my dead, drowned dog?
The water level was rapidly rising, and Rusty began to fear for his life. Then, out of the impending chaos, a giant yellow fish with a red head emerged from the water.
I fear for my life.
The great aquatic beast swam up alongside Rusty's window.
Wow! He looks like a big, wet fireman!
Thought Rusty.
Maybe he could help!
Rusty climbed from his window and onto the back of the giant red and yellow wet fireman-resembling fish. Riding on its back like a horse gave Rusty a funny, tingling feeling. This made Rusty kind of sweaty. The massive fish swam Rusty to the safety of higher ground, and then, after depositing him on dry land, disappeared beneath the waves. The waters quickly receded, and Rusty was able to return home. The next night, Rusty couldn't sleep. He thought about the big, strong, scaly, fireman-like fish. He thought about how stiff, muscular, and slippery the fish felt as he swam between Rusty's legs. He remembered the smell of brine and seaweed wafting off the fireman fish's wide yellow back. Remembering the fish gave Rusty a funny feeling. He wished he could be together with a big, wet beast again. The next day, Rusty talked to his sister Sue.
I think I want to marry a great wet fish that somewhat resembles a fireman when I grow up,
Said Rusty. Sue gave Rusty a strange look.
Boys don't marry creatures from the briny deep!
She exclaimed. Then she ran off and told all the other children that her brother wanted to marry a slimy, scaly fireman fish. Rusty went and talked to his mother.
I think I want to marry an aquatic fireman fish when I grow up.
He said. Mother laughed uncomfortably.
What a funny idea, Rusty!
She said.
What will the neighbors think if they hear about this?
Rusty decided that maybe his father would somehow understand how he felt.
Father,
Said Rusty.
did you ever wish that the house was built on an old wharf and then a big tidal wave would wash over the house and a giant slippery fish would rescue you? And did you ever wish that he'd take off all your clothes?
Father gave Rusty a strange look.
No, I can't say that I did.
Said Father. The real shocker came at dinner that night.
I wish a humongous seafood-smelling search and rescue fish would take off all my clothes and sleep with me in my bed.
Said Rusty.
And I wish he would put a dog leash on me.
Mother nearly choked on her lentil soup.
Eat your dinner, Rusty!
Said Mother.
And be quiet!
When Rusty went to bed, his mother came to tuck him in.
Now, Rusty, there's something I want you to remember.
She said.
Don't play with yourself or you'll go blind and drown in a sea of sin.
Okay, Mom.
Said Rusty.
He
He
wondered
wondered if
if
he could just do it until he needed glasses,
Yeah,
or
but-
maybe goggles.
That's what he thought.
After Rusty was in bed, Mother and Father talked things over.
I think Rusty may be an ichthyophiliac.
Said Father.
It certainly seems that way.
Said Mother.
What can we ever do about it?
I think maybe we should have a talk with him and put the fear of Neptune into him.
Said Father. Stay tuned next week for the next exciting episode of Rusty is an Ichthyophiliac.
Ichthyo.
Ichthyophiliac. Verbal assault!